Want to be featured on the Rock Metal Podcast just like all the other great bands you've heard up to this point? Go ahead and hit me up, therockmetalpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know. Let's work out the deets. The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 27 with A Joker's Rage. Yeah! Rock Metal Nation, I've got on the line today A Joker's Rage, one of the fastest growing rock bands from the north of England, and I'm super stoked to have them on. Today I am joined by Zach Taylor of A Joker's Rage to give us the inside scoop. So Zach, thank you for coming on to the show.
Oh, pleasure's all mine. Word up Canada.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Why don't you go ahead and tell Rock Metal Nation a bit about yourself, maybe what inspired you to become a musical clown, I guess you could say.
I don't know, man. I mean, everybody in the band is, is pretty seasoned. As a musician, we've all been in bands before, and we've all experimented musically. And I guess from a musical point of view, we don't see ourselves as part of any one specific genre or any specific scene or any trend. Our music follows no boundaries or no rules or anything like that. So it was hard. So we kind of wanted to portray that with our image too. You know, we wanted to make sure that we weren't pigeonholed by dressing like a certain, style of band that's been done for generations and generations over and over. And I mean, we've done it ourselves. I've been in like sleaze rock bands, and where we all look like some sort of Motley Crue ripoff. And
sleaze rock,
yeah. We've done. We've between the four of us, we've been in all sorts of different kinds of bands before. And Joker's Rage started when I was actually in a sort of sleaze rock band called Kid Ego, who did pretty well. We toured the States and Europe, and it was kind of during back when, I would say about 10 to 12 years ago, there was a bit of a craze of the whole classic rock sleaze sort of style. I mean, The Darkness came back, bands like Airborne, and then they were just getting started back then, and it all was going great. And I was young, I'd only just reached my 20s, and it all came tumbling down, and it was the politics of bands and band life and whatnot kind of came crashing down. And then I moved away for a while. I went to go live in Dubai for a while and just kind of regrouped, and then I just decided I wanted to start a new band with no boundaries, no rules, no nothing. I didn't want to be a rip-off of 1,000 bands, that are already ahead of me in the game. I wanted to write from the heart, and this is what we do, man. It's brutally honest music without trying to be anything.
I dig that. Brutally honest music without trying to be anything, writing from the heart, starting a band with no boundaries. And, I mean, oddly, it's really good music, too, which obviously Rock Metal Nation you're going to hear today. And I definitely get what it is that you were saying about all that, because it definitely shows up in the music as well, which is difficult in a way to plan to do something. Hey, I'm going to write music with no boundaries, and a lot of times people end up writing what they're not intending to write anyway, but as you said, you're all seasoned musicians, so you're able to bring that focus to
absolutely. I mean, it wasn't even the plan to be a band without boundaries. That wasn't even a plan. It was a natural progression of. The thing is that you've got four guys in the band who listen to completely different kinds of music. I mean, just throwing it out there. I mean, Matt, our drummer, and who does all the orchestral arrangements as well in our music, he listens to a lot of industrial sounds and a lot of heavy stuff. And our bass player Geordie is an absolute country fanatic. He listens to non-stop country. Our guitarist Adam is, his biggest idol is Muse, but he and I share a huge passion for Michael Jackson. And if I'm chilling at home, I've usually got some Paul Simon on or anything from that to George Michael even. You know what I mean? So it's like, and don't get me wrong, we're all fans of rock music as well, but we wanted to sort of just get in a room and write a song. Usually start with a vibe or a beat, if it's a dancing number, like an upbeat tempo dancey type number, or even it could be a reggae style song or whatever, and just go with it. And it's flowed in a nice way that people like the diversity, but they still recognize each song is us.
Yeah, I dig that. People like the diversity, but they recognize each song is us, and that's definitely what I got when I listened to the tracks. Now, I'm curious, what is the story behind how the four of you found each other?
Wow, it took a long time. I started writing for the band when I was literally living on my own in seclusion, and then I hooked up with some friends of mine in Glasgow, up in Scotland, who I'd co-produced an album for, phenomenal musicians, and actually was hooking up with them, who one of my best friends, Gary Johnson, who's probably potentially the best blues player in Scotland. Hooking up with him took me outside of my comfort zone, coming from a classic rock background, and it opened my eyes when we merged the two styles together, and we just came up with, and it sounded like some crazy cross between the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Avenged Sevenfold kind of style. It was like all over the place, and it was great, and basically just kept letting it write itself, kept following that flow. And unfortunately, I live in Yorkshire, which is nowhere near Glasgow, so I had to come home and find a band that we could tour with, and that the chemistry would work. And it turns out that the three guys that I found have been in my life all along, and it just worked. We tested it out. We jammed, and it was great. I mean, Geordie, my bass player, I lived with him at the time. I never thought I'd be in a band with him. He was my roommate that I used to just get drunk with at the end of the day. And I mean, he was always a bass player, but I never thought it would work, as sort of working together musically. And he did. And the same with Adam and Matt. We all knew each other from the scene. And to be fair, I picked the best. I did go and sort of look for the best of the best. And I mean, when the music ability of Adam and Matt is just phenomenal. They are the best people I could find, and it just worked. I was just really lucky, and we've got a great chemistry now, and it's all exciting.
Perfect. Yeah, it's funny. When I remember being younger, it's like the minute you want to form a band, you're looking for people that you're living with or your friends or things like that. And then as you get older, it's like our mind just like shuts down. Like, oh yeah, I live with a bass player. Maybe I should talk to him.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, you see, my bass player, Geordie, he's kind of like my little brother, and I've always looked at him as like a little brother, and I always looked at him as a bit of a lovable idiot, really. He's, I love him to bits. He's my best friend in the whole world, but he's and he's a great bass player. I just didn't think it would work, working together, but it did. It's match made in heaven, I guess. So yeah, we all work great together, and we feed off each other, and it's all equal as well. Like everybody contributes musically, everybody contributes artistically, and that's who we are.
Perfect. What inspired the name A Joker's Rage?
I was, again, when I was out in Dubai, and I just started tinkering around with lyrics, and I never try and force lyrics. I never try and decide, I'm going to write a song about something today. Like, there has to be something on my mind or something, that has a personal effect on me to then warrant writing a song about it. I guess that's my escape. So at the time, I was quite bitter about about how things ended with my last band. I would say I was depressed. I was at the bottom of a bottle in the Middle East, out in Dubai, and it was quite dark. I was writing from a dark perspective, and at the time, the Dark Knight movie wasn't released yet, but the first trailer came out, and even just with the trailer, I was captivated, absolutely captivated by Heath Ledger's performance, and I kind of just related to that character, and obviously, like, I didn't want to like mimic, like rip it off or anything like that. But I wanted almost to pay homage to that character, and I saw a lot of the similarities in the lyrics I was writing to his persona, and I kind of just took it from there, really.
Boom. Now, Zach, you mentioned that when you guys get together to write songs, that you just start with a vibe or a beat and just go with it. Like, it could be a reggae song, it could be like a very upbeat dance type vibe. But I'm curious if you could expand a bit when you guys do get together to write songs. What's that process like?
It's great, yeah. I mean, it never follows the exact same formula. I mean, a lot of the songs, you know, like I might be driving my car or doing something, you know, around the house, or even at the gym or something, and a beat will come in my head, and I'll start humming a riff, and then if it grows quite, you know, that will evolve in 10 minutes into a full song. And I'll get on the phone to Adam. I'll say, "Dude, bring your guitar around. I've got this idea," and I'll sort of project my idea onto him. Which at that point in time, the idea is like a skeleton, and he will then take it to a next level, and then Matt will show what we've got to Matt, and Matt can put down a 72-piece orchestra if he wants to on a track, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he will then take his sort of side on it, and then we'll go in a room and we'll plug in, and Geordie will start messing around with bass lines and come up with ideas of where we can like add certain stabs or different arrangements and things. So I mean, that's kind of the general process, but and sometimes it works the other way around. Sometimes Adam will send me a guitar riff, or he will send it to Matt, and those guys will work on an instrumental track, and then me and Geordie will take it from there. So it's always fresh. It never gets boring. It never gets old. And the process is enjoyable, which is obviously important.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a very collaborative process for the most part. It's like coming together, working on it. Sometimes there's a bit of seclusion, but then obviously it blossoms out so that the rest of the band can work on it.
And I think the seclusion side of it is equally as important, because at the end of the day, when a song comes from the heart, I think everyone would be lying if they said, "Oh, it came from everybody's hearts." The general vibe of a song comes from one person's heart, and then it's expanded. So it's important that whoever's coming up with that initial idea is given the space and the freedom to actually develop it before anyone else shoots it down or tries to change it too much, etc.
Right.
So we work really freely with each other, and we never, we're very open with each other, and everyone's got the space to be creative in our band, basically.
Perfect. I dig it. Let's go and listen to the first track, Bounce. All right, coming back from Bounce. Definitely dig that track. Proper name. I was bouncing. What's the inspiration behind Bounce?
Oh, the last few tracks we'd written before Bounce were quite, heavy-paced rock numbers, and they were quite dark, and I would say a little bit more aggressive. And I was just, I was in a really good mood one day. We were actually rehearsing for an acoustic gig in my living room. We were rehearsing to play unplugged, so we had all the acoustics out and stuff. And I went in the kitchen to grab a beer, and I literally don't know where it came from. I don't know what inspired it. I was in a great mood, and all I heard in my head was this, and I just started nodding in my head, and I was like, wow, that's a cool little simple catchy riff. And then in my head, even the guitar solo at the beginning, that popped in my head, and then I started layering it up in my head in the space of me going to grab a beer and opening it and take it back. I kind of had the first section all mapped out in my head, and then I just had this and I thought, that could be like a cool repetitive, chorus, and we literally wrote that. So I took it into the living room. I said, guys, I got a song. It's not acoustic, but we need to put this in your phones because I want to work on it. And we jammed it out once, and it just flowed within 10 minutes. And lyrically, the song is just about kind of, rebelling against the mundaneness and routine of and the stress of life sometimes, just sort of, it's just about letting loose essentially. And I mean, it's kind of got a jolly chorus, but then the verse is quite dark. So I like the contrast in it, and yeah, it's a party song. It's a meaningful party song. It's like writing a party song, but without being cheesy and singing about, hey, we party with girls and we're smoking weed and we're drinking Jack Daniels every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a Pitbull song. Here we are at a yacht. Life's great. Yeah. You wish you were me.
Yeah, I call it a party song for more intelligent people, I guess. Mm-hmm. Without being, offensive to anyone else. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with partying on a yacht, but, just saying. Guys,
there is when you haven't got one.
That's right. Always borrow somebody else's yacht. It's cheaper that way. That's what I say. All right, well, I dig it. Let's go and listen to the next track, Temptress. Okay, coming back from Temptress, same question, Zach. What is the story behind Temptress, or the inspiration behind Temptress?
Oh, it's ironic, really, because obviously you kind of, although Bounce sounds a lot heavier as a song than Temptress, those two songs have very similar attributes in that they've both got a kind of dance vibe. It's kind of another party song. Those are probably the two sort of party songs that we're known for outside of all our other music. But in a similar sense to Bounce, Temptress was when we were writing a sort of a different EP or a different set of songs. And again, we'd written quite a lot of real theatrical, orchestral, big, huge sounding like rock songs. And then I just thought, you know what, we need to take, I feel like I don't want to get into the habit of every song being like this. I need to just break it up a bit. So we just got drunk. Me and Adam got drunk one night, and I just come out of like a 7-year relationship, and I was pretty bummed out about it. But and then I met this girl at a gig. We were playing in our hometown actually, and this girl who lived on the coast came up to the show, and we had a moment.
A moment. I love moments with girls. That's all I got. I agree with you. Moments with girls are fantastic.
We had a moment, and it felt good. And although it was just kind of a moment or a few moments, without going into detail.
Wait a minute. Is this the Temptress that we're what? Oh my.
Yeah, and I don't know. I thought I'm going to write a song about this, because I went from feeling completely, zero interested in any form of relationship, or I was quite bitter and
not you, Zach, not you.
Yeah, not me. No, yeah. I was in one of my random, usual dark places, and I kind of turned, and I just kind of, there was this little bit of. And I met this girl this one night, there was a spark, and I've never written I never write songs about girls or love or anything like that. You listen to our lyrics, there's a very, very little about relationships or breaking each other's hearts or anything like that. And I just thought, I might try this. I mean, most songs, I'd say probably 70% of the songs in the world are all based on love and some context. And I've never written one before, and I just thought, well, let's try it, and that's how it came out. It was, it was catchy, it was fun. That's another one the crowd absolutely love, and they all love singing along to the chorus, and that's a good thing, because it's quite a high pitched song, so I get tired, so I can throw my microphone out in the crowd, and they do the singing for me, Oh
yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my favourite songs, man. It always gets my blood pumping, and it's just a fun song.
Very cool. Very cool. I dig it. What exciting news does the Joker's Rage have coming up for Rock Metal Nation to pay attention to?
Well, after much demand, we can confirm that we are releasing our debut album in the late spring of next year. We're currently in the studio at the moment. Just we've laid a few tracks down, and we're working on the rest of the tracks for the album. People, nobody knew who we were at this time last year, and then in February this year, we played one sort of underground festival over here in the UK, and boom, the people at that festival, they had some people in the audience, they ran their own festival, and they wanted to get us on, and suddenly word spread, and then in the end, I think we've played about 19 festivals this year.
Wow.
Across up and down the country, and we've had offers. We've had a couple of offers to go over to the States, but it just didn't make sense financially. I mean, nobody was certainly not in a position where we can throw money around or anything. So we've had offers from Europe, all parts of Europe. It's all just kind of happened since playing that first festival in February, and so across the year, everybody's been screaming, when are you going to do an album? When are you going to do an album? And So, we're actually on with it now.
That's awesome. All right, then. So, Rock Metal Nation, pay attention to a debut album coming from A Joker's Rage in late spring of 2017. And then, obviously, as well, head out to the festivals in the UK, because Joker's Rage will more than likely be playing at one of them. Is that correct, sir?
I think we're already booked 5 next year already.
What? 5 next year? Boom shakalaka. All right. How can Rock Metal Nation find out more about A Joker's Rage? Is there a website that they should go to?
Yeah, you can go to ajokersrage.com, and if you sign up to our mailing list, we like to send out behind-the-scenes videos and sneak peeks, and we like to give our close fans, things that you don't just normal people will just see on Facebook. We like to interact and get to know all our fans and friends. So there's jokersrage.com. I'm sorry if it's not updated as much as it should be, but that's because I run that website and I and I sometimes forget. But on all our social media links are on the website, Facebook / Joker's Rage, YouTube / Joker's Rage, SoundCloud, the usual haunts. You go there, you'll find us.
Perfect. All right. Rock Metal Nation, go ahead and head over to ajokersrage.com and sign up for the mailing list because you will get behind-the-scenes info that you normally would not see if you're just following on social media. However, if you just want to follow on social media, do that too. Go to Facebook, Twitter, anyone that you want to go to. Joker's Rage is taking over the world, so go ahead and do that if you please. And, Zach, I just wanted to thank you for coming on and for sharing A Joker's Rage with Rock Metal Nation.
John, the pleasure's been all mine. Let's do it again. Do it again soon.
Rock Metal Nation, hopefully you just found your new favorite band in A Joker's Rage. Thanks again for them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to check out all the information from the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.